Good evening. We are live again at the interactive webinar with Dr. Stoianovici. We also have a great topic. Today we are talking about miraculous healings. I begin with a question, Dr. Stoianovici, if there are miraculous healings unexplained so far in allopathic medicine, and I refer to what we consider incurable diseases, cancer or autoimmune diseases. Do you have an explanation from holistic medicine related to these miraculous healings?
Yes, we should have asked the doctors, because there is no doctor on earth who does not have among the patients he treated a miraculous cure and sit all night thinking about what happened there. That the most shocked are the doctors, because it's their work. They have this healing work, and in their own healing work where they consider themselves doctors, researchers, and they have a big, intelligent head and he doesn't understand. He's shocked by what happened because the miraculous healing shattered all his mental reasoning. So there's the big problem at the doctors. Of course, also in patients who have healed, because a miraculous healing is extraordinary. We need to make a point about God's relationship to science, first of all, and to man, so this trio of science, God and man, and medicine. The fourth is medicine. Because I don't know if you do, but at least as far as I know, we perceive Almighty God. And we perceive him, in religion, for example, an elegant gentleman with a beard in white, like a king. In the icons I visualized a gorgeous image, a physical body, gentle, loving, but also firm and strong, that rules the universe. And this is our image of God, at least in more than 65% of the population. That's how they think of God when they connect. But no one, mind you, has dared to look at the divine in any other way than this way. And I would like to present to you today another perspective, another window to the divine. I would like to present God to you differently. He is the one who created what you see here. And I'm going to scroll. I have several images created. I don't know if it looks very good now. I think you can see it very well. It is about an advanced mathematical God. He is an exceptional physicist, as you can see. And I'll dare at the end say a holistic healer, who invented medicine as a science to heal the people he created. Here forget God's manifestation in reality, in the physical, on earth. Through plants, through animals, through creation, through everything you see here, which is, it seems to me, exceptional. Now it's very important to actually understand that God doesn't work alone. He works through people. The people through whom God works are very different. It is also said in the Bible and everywhere else that God sent us someone and we did not welcome him into our home, we did not hear him, we did not see him. And I want to tell you that the instruments through which the divine works are all kinds of people, for example through priests in churches, for example through doctors in hospitals. For example, through many people who fight for the good of humanity. In various forms, from simple people who spread generosity and kindness around, and also from spiritual leaders, spiritual masters who also spread divine wisdom, but also scientists who are also sent, or are divine instruments, who dedicate their lives to discoveries for humanity. And we've listed all these people and scientists here to understand that scientists are also divine instruments and that science is actually an attribute of divinity. holistic medicine is doing for the first time and is the first medicine, and the first doctors are holistic medicine doctors who make this connection between science and spirituality and medicine. Because at this time in allopathic medicine this is completely lacking, and this is where a lot of things come from here a lot of errors happen. What holistic medicine does is to bring together the tools through this association that allow the physician to bring medical spiritual knowledge. So not only medical, because at this time allopathic medicine then medical knowledge is brought, what is written in the book. But here is an interweaving between the medical side and the spiritual side alongside quantum physical discoveries, and this explains these miracles that we are talking about today, of God in healing. For example, what is disease? Illness is a way for us to grow spiritually. I mean, what happens in the disease? The disease comes with a message, everyone knows that. That illness comes with a message. We usually don't understand the message that's why disease occurs. And let's say a cancer. And we don't understand why we suddenly have cancer and we get upset. Before the cancer came, there were many moments and people sent by scientists and priests and researchers and people around you and your best friend who started telling you, whispering that you have a problem, that you don't understand, that look here you are wrong and you have. She was blind, deaf, dumb, meaning you didn't hear or see anything, and then this disease is needed for you to be able to correct something for your spiritual development throughout your incarnations. The disease comes as a friend. We must receive her as a friend. We must see her as a friend. We receive it at this hour as an enemy. And we get angry, we receive it with anger, we don't receive it with flowers. Now it is perhaps much said to receive it with flowers, but at least we can receive it wisely. And we receive it with anger and hatred. And against this background of anger and hatred no healing can occur. Attention! Because it's actually very important the terrain, of the environment. We talked about this. And in fact, today healings cannot be explained. Why? That once medicine still did not understand these healings. Do you know what a miraculous cure looks like for a doctor? It means it gives him a comma something. So miraculous healing means he's no good. Why? He doesn't know exactly, he doesn't control healing. He misses something. Just like a person who can't solve a math problem. And that's why doctors stare at miraculous healings. Because they show their helplessness and they show their unwisdom. So what are we to do? Do we need to break this pattern of the doctor's view of miraculous healings? Because that's how we look at them right now. What should we do? We need to reverse. If it's not good, that's how we do it backwards. We must go to healings, as doctors speak, to miraculous healings with open arms. Why? There's something new there that we don't know. We must not look at it as a powerlessness, we must look at it as a challenge. We have to go and investigate with a magnifying glass, put on other glasses and take a closer look to see what's going on. Because if in that place we find the cure for cancer by studying this topic. If we get some great ideas in that place and we become geniuses and we make a discovery, anybody can do it. Anyone can do this, but especially a doctor has to do it. And everything miraculous, in fact, is unknown. It is not something that should seem abnormal and paranormal to us. It is unknown. It is misunderstood and is still unknown to medicine. And that means we need progress in medicine. All miraculous healings urge progress in medicine. That's where we're headed, they tell us we're not good yet. And so, against this background of the incoherence, ultimately, of approaching these topics from a medical point of view, holistic medicine emerged. God allowed this holistic medicine to emerge because everything is in His work and scientists are created by God and their lives are supported by God. And they breathe on earth because God created earth. So we owe everything to him, and then we don't have to make a discord out of it. And I want to start from a case that I presented. Alice and I prepared this webinar, and we put some videos so that you can study certain things beforehand. We wanted to make you curious once and two in hand. There was a very interesting case there. I don't know if you've seen it. And for those of you who haven't seen it, I urge you to see it again, because I'd like to explain that miraculous healing that was there. It's a very interesting healing. It is about a healing therapist, who was not a doctor, from Greece, who cured a child with cerebral palsy, which normally in allopathic medicine is uncurable. I mean, it was a lost case somehow, in the sense that something could not be expected in this situation, and that's why the parents, because allopathic medicine didn't give them any hope and didn't tell them anything, then they turned to a healer in Greece. A young man who initially went then to help them work with the child a bit and help him harmonize better. But in the end, what the healer did is spend only 4 to 5 minutes with him on a couch, very little, during which a miracle happened. Namely, after that play, that it was like a play, the therapist acted and treated him and healed him, in fact produced a healing with materialization in the physical. That is, what happened is that the little boy did not walk on his heels, and after healing he immediately started running, that he did not run and started running and began to step on his heels. The fact that he does not press on the heel is characteristic of this disease, and also the second time or the first time, I no longer know exactly, he was able to open his hand, that he had his hand bent. What does this mean? That this healer, who was not a doctor, approached the boy. I don't know what he did to him, that this is how allopathic medicine describes it. I don't know what he did to him. He did so with his hands, and the boy started stepping, and he started running, and he started opening his hand, and that's miraculous, defined healing. And I would like today, from the perspective of a holistic medicine doctor and researcher, to explain to you how it happened. Wouldn't you like to know how it happened? Because I have, scientifically, an explanation, you'll see very clearly. Now it's very important, you have to know that all biology, I mean allopathic medicine now, all biology, all biochemistry, taught in college, in high schools and in college. And current medicine, from cover to cover, is based on the beliefs, knowledge, perceptions of Newtonian physics. Which is called of the material world, that is, highly implemented in physics, based on matter in particular, that is, on the physical body, discoveries, attention, which were made between 1800 and 1900. So we have, between 1800 and 1900 some discoveries were made, and all current medicine now in 2023 is based, and textbooks are all based on this Newtonian physics information. The problem is that for some time now there have been some very big revolutions in physics, namely we have gone from this classical system, based on matter only, Newtonian, to Einstein's. Which means 4D, which means quantum physics, which means holistic, meaning seeing things as a whole, seeing more than the physical body, seeing subtle bodies, and so on. But in medical schools, this upgrade has not been done. So it's abnormal that in quantum physics there are some discoveries and they are not implemented by the medical system through devices, through courses in medicine, in college. That is, there must be courses in quantum physics in medicine. That would seem normal to me. And at this time whoever wants to do acupuncture, acupuncture being a holistic method based on these findings, is in college. Right now it's not discipline unless you want to do it separately. So it's optional. And acupuncture degrees are not medical specialties, they are skills. You see what I mean? So somehow these discoveries are marginalized and ignored, since they did happen. And now there is no talk about energy, also about the information field. I do not criticize allopathic medicine. I am a doctor in allopathic medicine and I am a primary specialist doctor and I owe everything to allopathic medicine. But it's not about that. It's that we have to shape it, we have to upgrade it, we have to spiritualize it, that's all. So it's the base, but we have to build a pyramid on it, we have to go up. And these old perceptions cannot explain what is happening now, and it is from this perception that miraculous healings are not explained. Because you will see in holistic medicine these explanations can be made. And I'd like to ask a question now, break this information down with questions for patients, if you could. And you have a question, Alice, for me from a patient.
From a patient, I would like to take the opportunity to remind everyone who follows us that I ask them to share our meeting and our webinar. It's important that they do that. It's important that this information reaches as many people as possible. You support us in this way for free. It's a gift you give to your fellow human beings. I would like to ask about the things you said before and about the shortcomings of allopathic medicine, how the human being works. Because no matter how simplistic this question may seem, we remain at this amazement because medicine does not deal as it should, including this part of miraculous healings or what we call paranormal healings or paranormal approaches.
Quantum physics helps us a lot in that sense. You must know that there is an informational, scientific, divine field in the universe, and you have seen that God is science, it is mathematics first, and physics God, and you have seen images at the beginning of sacred geometry that show how accurate God is. You must know that He works in the fields. What are fields? I'm kind of like an egregore. I don't know if you know the term egregore, it's an informational energy zone. That's informed energy, this is a field. And you must know that God holds all His knowledge, all knowledge for mankind. He keeps it in a library. All information. Where? Called the Akashic Library. This is how this name was given to the Akashic Library by Akai, because they discovered it many years before. And this Akashic Library is a kind of energy and information field, like it comes above Earth, that it's not with us around here. But it is a field, and this field, you must know, contains all the information from the beginning of the world until now. I mean, it's a kind of archive, but it's not just an archive of the past, it's an archive of the present, and mind you, it's an archive of the future. I mean, in this library, which is a field, but I'd like you to imagine it, I also have some pictures. I brought some pictures to suggest this. Let me start showing you some pictures, see if I can show them. Let's see. Look, this is what it looks like. That's the cached library. This is what it looks like. Okay, it's suggestive here. No one knows what it looks like. But it's a field, you know. And basically, this Akashic Library, that's where it's interesting. Because whoever has access will see to this field, that this field is keyed, you can't go in there anyway. You have to deserve to get in there. You have to have certain vibrations to access. That's what I'm talking about. But who has access to this knowledge, this science, that there's a science there are books there There are books with information, books with acacias. There is also an acacian registry there. Whoever has access to this knowledge knows everything and is a free man. We don't know until now 1,000th of what's out there. And especially since what's there, I told you, is also from the future. And I want to tell you that I'll give you an example now. I needed it for a patient. At one point I didn't know how to cure him. And I went to this Akasika library and I asked, as a doctor, for all the information. It was a treatment, and I asked all the information from all pharmacists, past, present and future, to send me information. I strongly asked for information on how to heal this man. So we can also demand it from the future. From time to time high vibrational people appear who prick knowledge from this field. It's like a cloud. It stings knowledge and more information trickles in. Information comes to us, we discover something, we understand something else, and these people are called geniuses, like Einstein who brought quantum physics. We owe holistic medicine to Einstein and quantum physics. He made a tremendous revolution with the information he brought. This person who is most of the time, I was watching, has a picture of his tongue sticking out. Sometimes people laugh at him because, being a genius, he was a very scattered person. And now I would like to explain further. Okay, there's a library and a field, a place. There is a place where you can get information. But what do we do with them next? How do we get them from there? And I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the mind. Through the mind we take them. With the mind we take them. Namely, the human brain is an antenna. You know, we think that the human brain is a kind of central storehouse, that we have everything here. We think and bring out new ideas. Not. You'll see it doesn't. In fact, the central repository is this Akashic library. And we, through our brain, are actually, through our brain, a receiving antenna for information. We take information from the Akashica library, we convert it, this information, it is a transformer of the human mind, but it is not the central repository. And how do we have access? What exists between the mind and this field in the Akashic library? The space between the two is called the quantum field. There's also a field. Only fields here. What is quantum field? It is a road where information and energy travel. Between our minds and the Akashic library, who can get there, who does not stop at the edge of the library, at its gate, because they cannot enter there. So a certain vibration to get in there and a certain quality of consciousness. There the badge means your conscience. The mind, so you're going to see now, up there is a field, between them the quantum field. What is mind? I said it was a receiving antenna. The mind is a field. It is an information energy field, a field of thoughts. So basically, it's like a halo all around. Thank you all. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and Alice and I
hug you and thank you.